And good evening, everybody. Welcome to. Wait a minute. Welcome to Mantaur. What are you doing here?
How you doing, Pharaoh?
Mantaur's Memoirs.
Pleasure to meet
What's
you.
happening, folks?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are Mantaur's Memoirs, and I am your co-host, Mantaur, and my special guest tonight, the Pharaoh.
Special.
Welcome to the Pharaoh. You know, it's good to see him. Been
good to see you.
incognito for a while, but I'm glad you finally made an appearance.
Yeah, I recognized you without the.
Yeah, without the fucking
How did I do that?
headdress, right?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I must have done some research or something.
Well,
All
you know,
right.
I am a pretty good-looking guy, so it's hard to forget a face like this.
Someone's
right?
got to be around here. I mean, geez, look at me. Anyway, former WWE superstar Mantaur. Mantaur, tell us a little bit about your show for those of folks who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you know, trying to do a sports talk show slash kind of life, wrestling history. Just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. It's my show, so, you know, we can kind of go off on, you know, whatever avenue we want to drive down that day and see how it works out, you know. Just here to, you know, get to know the fans, let the fans get to know me, and kind of get to know some of the behind the scenes and the real life of a ex-professional wrestler.
So, how is it being retired all these years later? Is it hard? Do you miss pro wrestling?
Yeah, I actually do. You know, I miss entertaining the people. Mostly, that was, you know, that's why you do it. I think that's why you're in the job, is to entertain the people. And so, if you're going to do it, entertain the people, then it's obviously about the people. And so you do a lot of things to your body that you wouldn't normally do, but again, you're doing it for the fans and doing it for the people. And you have to have a passion to be a pro wrestler. And I had a lot of passion, took it very seriously. I was a great amateur wrestler. So I took a lot of pride in amateur wrestling, and of course I took a lot of pride in professional wrestling, you know. But you know, I'm enjoying the retired life, you know, living my best life right now. Just been on vacation for the last 2 weeks. Me and my family and Mrs. Dunkin' Donuts, we...
Mrs. Dunkin' Donuts?
Yes, she's on
Okay.
her way to Augusta. She's driving with the puppies.
Very good.
So we've been
Jerry
on vacation.
Lawler's puppies?
No,
Oh,
no,
never
not
mind. That's a
Lawler's
different kind of
puppies.
puppies. I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
Two Westie puppies. They're about 4 months old.
Oh, okay. Very
So,
nice.
yeah,
How's your
they're-
body holding up?
they're the talk
you
of
know,
the
after a long career.
Well, you know, I got a plate in my back. I got
Hey.
a plate in my neck. I've had surgery on both elbows, you know, both knees.
Mm.
You know, my back is the biggest problem, but it is what it is, you know. Again, it's not ballet, and it's why you do the job, right?
Yep.
So you got to expect, you know, things like that to happen, of course, and it's you know, I really enjoyed it. I had a really long career, and you know, pretty successful, and obviously, you know, what has it been? 28 years, 30 years later, people are still talking about Mantaur.
Must have done something right.
So I must have done something.
Must
right,
have
you
done
know,
something.
so-
How have you found the adjustment to doing a show now?
You know, I'm loving it. You know, I mean, it gives me another way to entertain the fans, and you know, if I can put a smile on their face or make somebody laugh, you know, then I feel successful. You know, that's what it's all about, is making the fans say, "Oh shit, I can't believe he just said that," or "What the fuck just came out of his mouth," you know, or you know, just anything. You know, just start laughing, you know, over some funny shit. You know, so I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about entertaining the fans, and it also gives them a chance to get to know me and my life and kind of what goes on behind the scenes and in real life. You know what I mean? So it's been quite enjoyable, and you know, I can talk for days and days and days and not tell you the same story twice. So that's a good thing. You know, I've had a lot of life experiences, and I've been to a lot of crazy places and did a lot of crazy things, and I'm still here to talk about it. Thank God.
Was the
you know?
business as crazy back in those days as we've heard? I mean, after all, you were around for a lot of notoriously wild characters in that locker room.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy back in the day. You know.
Were you able to avoid a lot of the things that unfortunately have taken the lives of some of these guys, whether it was too much roids or too much drugs or too much booze or too much cocaine
Yeah,
or whatever
you know,
it was
I mean,
these
I've
guys
always-
thought that they could do?
I've been lucky, Farrell. I've always been just a pot smoker, right?
Excellent. Bob Marley approves.
Yeah,
Very good.
right,
Okay.
exactly right.
All right,
And
that's
so
fine.
I got my medical card, so I'm
Very
good.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so,
I have one too, but it's not for
you know.
weed. Oh, never mind. Let's not get into that one. But okay, so that must help. I would assume that helps with whatever joint pain you got.
Yeah,
and-
because I really don't like to take them opioids, man. I don't like how
No.
they make you feel and shit. And so I'd rather smoke a joint and try to take the pain away.
Right.
Kind of try to relax a little bit.
Understood.
And,
Understood. I
just,
do it for mental pain. I keep trying to take more, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, well, some people it has that effect.
Yeah, it is. I got a question for you. If someone came to you, because I'm assuming you're not doing any more bumping. That crap is long gone.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. If someone came to you, holding an independent card somewhere, and offered you a shot at like perhaps managing or speaking for someone, would you be interested in something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I might even put on the trunks again, but I would never take a bump.
I got you.
Right.
Wait a minute. What would you do then? Just wear the trunks?
I'd go out there and fucking smash somebody like I used to.
Okay. So you
just
could
like
just
the good-
smash.
just like
No
the
one
good old
smashed
days.
me. Okay.
Ain't nobody fucking smashed
No
me.
one smashed
Ain't nobody
me
ever
anyway.
smashed me.
Now, that's
Razor
true.
Ramon.
Yeah,
That fucking
oh.
prick tried to smash me, and I fucking got into it with him in the ring and then back in the locker room.
While we're at that, why don't you? If you've already told that story, then we'll skip that. But you want to elaborate a little bit on just how wrong Razor Ramon was towards you?
Yeah, he just called a spot and took a cheap shot and tried to open hand slap me and knock me the fuck out, and I just shook it off and charged him and fucking give him the forklift and put him in the corner, start fucking
The forklift.
punching him, and Vince gets on the microphone to the referee's ear and says, "Tell them two fuckers that knock that shit off. They're on national TV.
Right.
Save that shit for the back." So the referee came over and said, Vince said, you guys better get back to fucking work and save that shit for the back.
Yeah,
You're
what
on
are you
TV.
doing? That's not the
Like,
script.
hey, man,
what are you guys doing?
We're just kind of having a go at each other right here, right? Because he knows I'm fucking. I'm like, you motherfucker, man, take a cheap shot like that.
Any problems with Nash or Sean, considering those were the boys he ran with, or?
Well, just after that incident happened, I knew that my days were numbered, right? Because Razor was part of the fucking clique.
Of
and,
course.
if somebody in the clique don't want you around, then you're not going to be around.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, what you're doing. You're gone. And so that was kind of the case. And but it is what it is. They brought me back 2 more times to do 2 different gimmicks, and so they must have seen something in me,
Right.
Some kind of potential or money making material. So I mean. I'll take my chances and did the best I could with them. And I mean, you're only good as the person you're working with anyway. But if the office doesn't really give you a shot to show your abilities, then you're never really going to make it very far in the business, right? They're kind of holding you back because,
Right.
If they say, okay, you're going to go out there and do this, but we don't want you to do too much of this or shine too much, then you're just going to go out there and you can't really expand on your character because they got you fucking handcuffed, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of ways that the office holds you back, and you can try and take your shots and take your little spots and try and get your shit in. You know what I mean?
Do you regret being cornered with the Mantaur gimmick? I know that's not an easy question, but it's an honest question.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that Vince would kind of use my gangster character that I was fresh off with doing over in Europe for so many years. I developed that character and changed it a few different times and finally came up with a really nice gangster gimmick character for that.
And you worked on it for how long?
Oh, probably over the course of 10 years.
Why wouldn't they take that? You're coming in ready made.
I don't know. I was at that time. I was 375 pounds, and I was a fucking killer.
Yeah.
And wearing a gangster suit, and coming out wearing amateur wrestling fucking tights, and just eating up people, fucking suplexing them all over the fucking place, right? And but they put this fucking half man, half beast bullshit on me. So, I tried to do the
What was
best I
your
can.
reaction when they did that?
I'm going to tell you something, Farrell. It's not easy making chicken salad
You're-
out of chicken shit.
Yeah, but you did.
I did.
But what was your reaction when they pulled that out? Were you like, Oi, what do you
like,
mean?
this is
Or,
gonna be
okay, I'm going to
fucking-
embrace this and
gonna
they'll
be
talk
difficult.
about me 30 years
Listen,
from
well,
now.
listen, you had no choice but to embrace it, right? I
Right,
mean, you're
right.
gonna say, "Fuck it, I'm not doing it." Well, then you're not gonna have a
Yeah,
job.
then you're not working for Vince.
Then you're not working for Vince.
There goes
You're
the
going
dream
home.
job.
Yeah, so
I got
you know
you.
you're gonna do what he fucking tells you to do, and
gotcha.
you know, try to, like I said, try to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So I'm glad that, you know, almost 30 years later, people are still talking about me. You know, whether it's the belly to belly suplexes they remembered, whether it's the Mantaur shuffle, whether it's just the fucking Mantaur bullhead, whether it's the fucking horns in my head with the paint. I don't really care. You know, I'm just happy that they remember me, and from the response that I've been getting, because I just recently opened up all my social media accounts. So I, you know, got an Instagram and a fucking TikTok, and
TikTok.
you know,
Oh, boy.
I opened up my Facebook, and
Right.
so, you know, I'm starting to get out there, and
Have you found the response, like, you know, surprisingly overwhelming, or you know, so far so good? I mean, what's
Well,
the
I mean,
once
for
you get into
me-
the internet world, now you got everybody.
yeah, I mean, you know, for me, it's you know, you get the messages every now and then that says, "Hey, Mantaur, man, I remember back in the day, I used to watch you on TV, and I was going through a real fucking tough time, and the way you just kept fighting, man, really made me want to fight," and or whatever the case is, man. Say, you know, what your actions or your words changed my life, and even if it's just a fan that I signed autograph for,
Right.
You know, a guy wrote me a letter about 3 months ago. He said, "Hey, Mantaur," he said, and he sent me this picture. And it was me, and it was obviously this kid when he was like 10, you know, and he's like 40 now, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
gotta feel
wow,
good,
man,
though.
yeah,
It's
fucking
gotta feel
feels
great.
man,
It's
you know.
gotta.
And said, glad to know you're still alive, and you know you're doing well, and you know, wish you the best. So I mean, those are great messages, man. Those are great messages, and it just makes you feel like that. You know, you've done something right.
Well, you did. Mantaur's favorite all-time match.
Um,
Drum roll. The
I'd
drum
have-
roll's done.
yeah, I'd have to say my favorite. That's a tough question, man.
I
You
know.
I mean,
well,
I'm
hey,
also-
you're sitting with the Pharaoh. What'd you expect?
Yeah, well,
Softballs?
you know,
Forget about it. Wrong show. You already know what Monty and the Pharaoh does. There ain't no softballs here, kid.
Curveball
Yeah,
City,
curve,
buddy.
a spitball.
Yeah, right.
You know, but it's sink a whole couple of feet.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I've wrestled a lot of big names and a lot of different
Well, there must be
guys.
one or two that come
I would
to
have
mind.
to. I would have to say Bret Hart in Moline, Illinois.
Wow, Bret Hart. How did that go? You guys
That
are
was-
complete polar opposites.
That was. We had a fucking great match, and I remember I brought my best friend from high school with me. I asked him. I said, "Jerry," I said, "I'm wrestling up in Moline, Illinois tonight." I says, "You want to go with me?" He says, "Hell yeah, I'm going, Mantaur." So we jumped in the car. We drove up to Moline from Nebraska, about 8-hour drive.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, just come with me. Just, you know, keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. Don't fucking say nothing to nobody unless they say something to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so got to the building, and I found out I was wrestling Brett. I was
That
like,
is-
what the fuck? So
Yeah.
he was like, Brett wants to talk to you back in this conference room here in about half an hour. I was like, all right,
Get a
man,
load
I'll
of
be
Brett.
there."
Pre-match conversation.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow.
all right, I'll be there. So
Very nice.
I went and found my buddy, and he was like, all right, who you wrestling tonight, Slim? And I was like, you're not going to believe it. He says, tell me. I said, Bret Hart. He said, are you fucking kidding
Wow.
me? I
What
like,
was the
"No."
conversation like when he talked to you before the match?
Yeah, he was just like, Mantaur, he said, I've heard a lot of things about you. And he says, I heard you're, you know, pretty snug. Some might even call it stiff.
Okay. Okay.
says, but,
so that's why he wanted to
He
talk
says,
to you.
he says, but I'm old school, and he says, I
Right.
want this shit to look good. And I says, yeah, that's my whole purpose of, you know, working snug. I says, you know, if you fucking clothesline me, I want you to clothesline me, you know.
Right.
I said, if you punch me, you know, punch me. You're not gonna fucking kill me.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is wrestling. This is not ballet.
Easy to work with, Bret Hart?
And he was super easy to work with. And after the match, he was like, Mike, he says, I don't know what everybody's complaining about.
Right.
He said that was one of the best matches I had. He said that was a lot of fun.
When he says everybody's complaining about, can you assume that that came from the clique?
Oh, most fucking definitely, man. There's a lot of fucking prima donnas back then, and Aldo Montoya, he was like
Aldo
he
Montoya.
was like one of the the coattails of the clique, right? Rode the coattails of the clique.
Sure.
And I remember I wrestled him in a loop down in Texas, man, Corpus Christi, and I just beat the fucking piss out of him like 4 nights in a row.
How do you feel
And
about Shawn Michaels' conversion?
conversion to what?
He's a man of the cross now. Any thoughts on all of that? Because Shawn Michaels in the past was not exact. He was more like probably the guys in Motley Crue than he was, the guys in Sunday Church.
So he went from
He's a preacher basically,
So-
minus the official tag. He's very much a very born again kind of guy. Any thoughts on that after what you saw during your day, or?
So he went from Vince and Pat Patterson.
Here we go. I
The
know
Brooklyn
I did it.
Brawlers, Boy Toy to a fucking preacher now.
The
Is that what
Brooklyn Brawler too?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's the story I heard anyway.
oh, that's awful. Really?
Yeah, well,
Was it in Brooklyn?
No, I don't think so. I have no idea.
All right.
I don't think it fucking matters where it was.
Oh,
at, right?
yeah, you're right. I guess it really doesn't. It's basically the point of it
don't
all.
really matter where it's
Hey,
at.
Tums anybody? Wow, that's rough.
Yeah, man. It's
That's
a
rough.
fucking
Got any
Maylocks.
good stories for the folks at home from that you could share?
Oh,
That you
man.
maybe you haven't shared yet on your show, or
Man, I don't know. There's just a lot of fucking too many stories, man.
too many
It's hard
stories?
It's hard to pick one.
How about when
know
you
what I
you
mean?
went over to Europe, right?
Yeah, I was over in Europe. That was a great time. I got to wrestle the promoter Otto Vance.
Oh my God,
Couple times and
former world
for the-
champion of
for the
AWA.
belt, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand if you're wrestling Otto in his hometown,
Yeah.
these fucking fans want to kill you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, because over in Germany, they really thought that it was a fight, right?
and he was the Bruno Sammartino of his country, right?
pretty much was.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
bought
you're
that
gonna be the guy
he
that's
bought
that-
that championship from Vern Gagne in the AWA, and he took it back to fucking Europe, and boom, he became an instant millionaire.
You say you
Right.
bought it?
Oh yeah, he bought it. I think he paid like $50,000 or $100,000.
Get out.
Big Otto Vance paid Vern Gagne to be the heavyweight champion
Right.
for 6 months or a
Right.
year.
Yeah, because it
And,
looked great on the
Otto
resume.
fucking Vern said, okay, fucking scooped up the cash, and Otto took that fucking belt back to Europe, and boom, the God was born, right? I mean, this guy was,
Of Germany, yeah.
he was, pharaoh status for God's sakes over there.
Wow,
right?
he's big time.
Yeah, huge.
You gotta like that.
Huge.
How different was it wrestling Europe? It was, the European style compared to what we do in America.
I loved it because it was more realistic, right? It was less fucking high spots. It was more wrestling and, more telling a story. You had to tell a story on a nightly basis because you might have been wrestling the same people in the same town for 76 straight nights,
Okay.
right? And some of these same fucking people are there for 76 straight nights. They don't miss a night at $25 a ticket,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I got
you know,
Yeah.
and they're there every fucking night, and it was incredible, man. I mean, from the only bad nights we had were Tuesday and Wednesday.
hmm
Thursday through Monday, the fucking place was sold out.
Was it television tapings the Tuesdays and
Um,
Wednesdays, or
No. It was just.
how does it work over there? Did they have a weekly show?
Nope.
Wow.
They just wrestle, come to your town, and they wrestle every single night.
Wow.
So they might be in one town for 3 days, might be in one town for 17 days, might be in one town for 38 days.
Interesting.
Might be like we were in Vienna, Austria for 76 straight days. We were in Hanover, Germany for 72 straight days.
Okay.
We were in Seeboden, Austria, up in the mountains, up in the Alps for 3 days. And so we were in a lot of different places for sometimes shorter period of time, just depending on how long the tournament was or how big wrestling was in that town. So Vienna's a huge place, a huge city. So they ran there 76 straight nights, right?
Wow.
And we wrestled
Okay.
in an outdoor arena that held probably 5,000 people.
So how much of a shock then was it when you start working for Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon doesn't stay in a town for 76 days. He goes to 76 different places in 76
Yeah,
days.
you're right
What
about
was that
that.
like? Did you have to get used to that? Or?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was an adjustment. I was used to living basically out of a suitcase anyway. 'Cause
Right.
Even though you're somebody,
It's the life of
place
a
for
wrestler.
76
Of course.
straight days.
Yeah.
You still gotta, do your own fucking laundry and, You got to figure out how you're going to eat for the day.
How'd you clean that mask
You
anyway?
know. Yeah. it
Did
was-
you? Were you even able to?
Um,
I would think that would get a tad bit uncomfortable after a while without it, some sort of rinsing.
yeah, I mean, I just tried not to sweat too
I
much.
try not to sweat.
Yeah.
You're a wrestler. How'd you
Yeah,
avoid
well-
that? An hour extra dry? I mean,
Good
what
thing you had to wear it on the way to the ring and not on the way back.
Right.
So it was
Wow.
kind of before I got all worked up. But yeah, man, I mean, wrestling in Europe was a fucking blast. It was actually probably the best time I've ever had in my entire life. Life over in Europe was just great, living out of a camper and staying up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, barbecuing and drinking beer all night. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Is it the life of a rock star or no?
Over in Europe, it was, man.
Nice.
We would go to these towns and restaurant owners would invite the wrestlers to a meal
Right.
after the wrestling show was over.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd go to the restaurant at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and they would serve you a fucking 5-course meal for free. All they asked was just tell your fucking fans where you're going.
Right.
Right? They want you to bring them 50 or 100 people fucking with you.
You remember when Flair used to announce on Georgia Championship Wrestling where they were going afterwards?
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
kind of turnouts he used to
Yeah,
get?
right. You know,
Makes
I mean,
sense.
and you save a lot of money.
Sure.
You save a lot of money, and
And you eat well, too.
Certain restaurateurs would only invite maybe you and myself,
Right.
or they'd invite just 3 or 4 guys. But sometimes, and most of the times, they would invite the whole fucking crew.
Right.
And we would go there and we would eat and drink for nothing, or pay a $5, $5,
Right.
fucking eat nice fucking steak and chips, and when I say chips, I mean like fried potatoes.
Sure.
Fried potatoes with some onions and shit, some vegetables and.
I'm hungry. Stop naming the
Oh,
foods.
man.
I just was curious as to whether you ate or not. I don't want to hear all the ingredients. I'm starving.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing
Hey.
I ate before I came here.
Yeah.
I drove 8 hours from Booth Bay, Maine, to get here today.
You like the New York food?
Dude, I love the New York food.
Not
I
bad.
love the fucking studio, man.
Oh, thank you.
It's great to,
Thank you.
see everything here and
Yeah.
to be a part of it. It feels like I'm in the WWE again, real
Ah.
professional fucking shit going on.
Just like
here, man.
Tuesday Night Titans or something.
Yeah,
That's it.
right,
Where's
you
Lord
know,
Alfred
right.
Hayes? Oh, I don't think he's showing up.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's been a great career, and I'm just happy that I'm still here today, be able to talk to you, and I'm still alive and breathing.
Thank God.
Like I said, I'm trying to live my best life. I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks. We went up to Niagara Falls for 3 or 4 days, and then we went up to coast of Maine, up in Booth Bay, Maine, up in the what do they call it, little harbors. They got little harbors all over up there,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of small mountains in Maine. You
Yeah.
know? I never would have guessed it.
There's a lot of lobsters too.
Oh, shit ton! I ate a few of them. when
I
was
would
up
hope
there,
you
brother.
did. That's the place to have them, from what I understand.
had a few lobster rolls for. I think you probably had
Nice.
4 or 5 lobster rolls in 10 days. Right? I think I had
Nice.
one every other day.
You currently reside in.
Florida.
I would assume that weather has got to be good for your bones.
Florida weather is, yeah. My dad, has been saying, he said, "I can't wait to get back to Florida." I said,
Right.
"Why is that?" He said, "Man," he said, "being up here in this 50-degree weather," he said, "my fucking shoulder's been hurting." He said, "I
can
can't
see
wait to
that.
get back to that heat, right?"
Yeah,
And, I
yeah.
noticed the same thing with my knees and my lower back, right? Just in my neck's a little stiffer,
Right.
So yeah, I'm anxious to get back,
Drive a little
man.
more aggressively.
Yeah, well,
But that's New
I'll-
York,
Listen, I'll tell you a fucking driving story today. So, my dad said, he says, "We drove 8 hours and only got stopped once." So I was up in fucking Massachusetts about, I don't know, half hour, because we had to take a ferry from Connecticut to here, right? That's where the GPS fucking took us.
Right.
So, on the way about 35 minutes before the fucking ferry, I'm on the fucking highway and I'm driving. And I come over this hill, man. I'm doing like 90, right?
Oy, what are you doing?
And the fucking cop fucking pulls me over. And
Gee, I wonder why.
So I just hold on. The best part
90?
is the best part is
What are you doing?
I just lit a joint like 10
he's
minutes
doing
previous.
90, and what are you, Tommy Chong? What are you doing?
I just lit a joint.
I can't.
I just lit a joint like 10 minutes before, and I was halfway through it. So as soon as I came over the hill and I seen the cop pull on the interstate, I just chucked the fucking joint out the window and I rolled the fucking windows down.
Right.
So this little fucking cop comes up, man. He was super cool, little buff dude, right?
Little buff dude.
Yeah, little Dago, man, you know.
Okay.
A little Vinny bag of donuts, right?
I gotcha.
And
I
a
understand.
wise guy and came up because he really thought he was the wise guy, right? Little motherfucker. Oh, fucking steroided out and shit. You
Right.
know? He was like 5'10".
Would you threaten to eat him
5'10",
or something
maybe
like
a
that?
Buck,
I mean,
buck 90. You know, he was blow. If you took a pin, he'd fucking blow away.
Great.
This guy was all blown up.
All right, so he's instantly probably intimidated.
So
All
he
right.
comes up, he says,
Okay.
license registration, sir. So I give him the license registration, and he's like, how you doing today, sir? I was like, man, I'm doing great. He says, where are you coming from? And I said, Booth Bay, Maine. He says, what are you doing up there? I says, well, we've been on vacation. And he says, where are you from? I says, Florida. He says, is that where you're going? I says, yeah. He says, man, that's a lot of traveling, huh? And I says, yeah, you know, I says, I was a pro wrestler for 30 years. I said, so I'm used to this traveling. I said, I love traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, oh, really, pro wrestler, huh? He said, yeah. He says, what, WWE? I said, yeah, WWF. He says, oh, okay, old school. I said, yeah. So I asked him, I said, so what's the problem, officer? What did you pull me over for?
Okay.
And he never answered me.
Okay.
He never answered. He just act like he just never fucking heard me say it to him, right?
Okay.
And totally changed the subject and asked me some questions. He said, I'll be right back. So he's gone for like 15, 20 minutes, right? For a long fucking time.
I don't like that, but okay.
And he was gone for a long time, and I'm thinking, man, he said I was doing 89 and a 65. I said, that's 24 miles over the speed limit. I said, if he would just make it a ticket for 15 miles and over, I would eat it, right? I was okay, it is what it is. Can't change it. And don't really give a shit anyway, just a fucking speeding ticket.
Right.
And so he comes back and he was like, here's your license. So the whole conversation was when he was looking at my license, and on the state of Florida, on their driver's license, it says safe driver underneath.
Oh.
He says, safe driver, huh? And I said, yeah. And I says, is that what it says? He says, that's what it says. I says, well, then I must be a safe driver. And so
it's what it says right here.
Must be a safe driver. So I was like, well, I says, that's why I don't think, I was doing 89. I said, because all this traveling, I says, I've learned that in order not to mess with you guys and having you waste your time on me and me wasting your time getting stopped by you, I says, I got a rule that's a 10-mile-an-hour rule. I said, the speed limit is 65, I'm only going 75. Maybe 76 if I'm lucky.
Right.
I says, but I don't push it. I said, I don't have no time for this stuff. And he was like, well, I said, plus anyway, it says I'm a safe driver. And he says, you know what? He says, in fact, it does. It does say you're a safe driver.
Did you get away with this or what?
So he comes back to the car.
You better have gotten away with this.
He gives me the shit, and he was like, is there anything else besides marijuana in this car?
Hey. Yeah, bagels. You want one?
I said, no, officer. I said, that's it. I said, I just got a few joints in the glove box.
Okay.
I said, but I do have my medical marijuana card.
Okay.
He says, you have a medical marijuana card?
You're a safe driver and
I
you
was
got a
like,
card.
of course I do. So I said, here you go. He said, can I have it, please? I said, sure. Here you go, officer.
Right.
He looks at it. He says, very interesting. He says, okay, Mr. Halleck, he says, I'm going to give you a warning today.
Okay.
Have a nice day and
That's fantastic.
Be safe.
Good.
I was like, excuse me?
He just figured he'd keep you around for half an hour?
Excuse me?
Hey.
Excuse me, I
Well,
mean,
he says a happy
repeated.
ending.
I was trying to fucking almost start fucking choking, right? I was like, because I couldn't believe. I mean, that was the best case scenario, of course.
Of course.
That he's going to fucking let me go.
So
Best case scenario,
So
right?
what'd you do after you left him? You didn't go 90 again, did you?
No, I went 91.
You are unbelievable. We can't take you anywhere. Why don't you tell the folks what they can look forward to in the future with Mantaur's Memoirs?
You know what? Look for a lot of excitement. Look for a lot of true stories. And just a lot of great times, a lot of honesty, a lot of passion, a lot of charisma. You know, I love what I do, and I'm here for you fans, of course, again and still, and I probably will till I go 6 feet under, because you are the reason why I do what I do, and I continue to do what I do, and I just hope that you get a laugh, or I can help you with the problem. You know, all I can say is, man, we all go through problems in life, and that's just a part of life. But it's how you respond to them problems is the main thing. And just don't ever give up. Just keep fucking plugging along, because life is brutal for everybody. Life is not perfect. Fucking, you might drive home from work and you might have a fucking flat tire, or you might wake up and you're overdrawing your fucking bank account.
Or you wake up and someone stole your catalytic converter.
There you go.
I mean,
right? Like, fucking, come
not
on.
Speaking from experience.
Really? Fucking my catalytic converter?
Yeah, man.
But you know what?
Those things are
The
expensive.
point is, man, just don't give up. Yeah, exactly. They sure are, man.
Yeah,
They're not
they
fucking
are.
cheap. That's why they're stealing them.
Yeah, they.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, just keep plugging along, man. Don't ever give up. And, the motto at Mantaur's Memoirs is, you only die once, but you live every day.
Nice.
And, I try to live my life by that. And, I've been to Alaska already this year. I just spent 2 weeks up in Maine and New York. I'm living in Florida. Got a great family. Nice girlfriend.
The
I
show's called
couldn't be happier.
Mantaur's Memoirs. Does this mean eventually we'll have a book?
Yes, actually, we are in the process of starting to write a book.
Nice.
The Mighty Mantaur documentary is now finished.
Okay.
So we're shopping for distributors right now.
How long did that take to film?
We filmed it over the course of probably the last 3 or 4 years.
Nice.
Can
I ask who was involved, or was it a fan that took interest, or was it a company?
Well, no, it was a friend of mine that I became friends with in Omaha, Nebraska. He was a movie maker.
Okay.
I produced a lot of movies and shit, and small budget films, little indie films.
Right.
But good guy, and I was in a few of his films, and just a few times that we hung out and would sit down and bullshit, man. He just loved my stories because I'd never tell the same story twice, right? And it was always something interesting and intriguing. And he was like, you're one of the greatest storytellers that I've ever heard. He says, because you're so passionate about what you're talking about. I said, listen, that's my real life. I have nothing but to be passionate about it because that shit really fucking happened, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how far-fetched it may seem or how fucking crazy or off the wall it is, that shit really fucking happened. And I'm here to tell you. And so, yeah, man. I mean, so the Mighty Mantaur documentary is finished. Looking for distributors right now. Hopefully, it'll be out maybe by the end of the summer. I don't know. It's just a rumor, but I heard that Tubi was interested.
Okay.
So hope we'll see what happens there. You just never know. And but yeah, so hopefully, I'm gonna have the documentary coming out and the book at the end of the summer. I have a new wrestling figure that's going to be out at the end of the summer, sometime in July.
There we go.
I'm doing the podcast. I'm sitting here with you.
True.
And just a lot of great shit's happening, man. So I can't complain. God's really blessed me, and I'm just happy to be here to spend this, a little bit of time with you and share my life and some stories with the fans out there. That's what's important, and I'm having a fucking blast.
How about, would you change anything if you could have in the past? Would you change anything, whether it was the decision to become a wrestler, whether it was the decision to accept Mantaur, whatever it was, would you have changed anything? Sorry. Nobody said it was easy sitting next to me.
Oh, man, no wonder why fucking Monty fucking suggested I have you on the show tonight. Fuck, he was tired of me stumping his
I'll
ass.
give you a Monty, highest payday.
Yeah, something easy, right?
I don't know if that's easy. Some guys don't want to answer that question. They're like, it's none of your business.
No, I would say I would answer that would be WrestleMania when I was in the lumberjack match. I think it
What'd
was.
you get for that?
I think it was Lex Luger and somebody to stand outside the ring.
To stand outside the
Like
ring?
$6,000.
$6,000 to stand?
Yeah.
I could do that.
Put my
I'll
paint
stand.
on and stand there for 20 minutes. And,
Yeah, I'm not much of a lumberjack though, but
no, but fuck it was fun, man.
It must have been.
Yeah, you're out there with fucking 20 of your fucking friends. And,
Which WrestleMania was this?
95, maybe 96.
95, 96. So where does that put us? Like maybe 11 or 12?
Something like that,
Or
maybe.
10? I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Excellent. So WrestleMania, was that the pinnacle? Was that the dream? Even though you're just standing outside, was it like, oh hey, I made WrestleMania? That's good enough for me? Because quite honestly, that'd be good enough for any sane person trying to get into this business.
Listen, it was a pretty great accomplishment. I think anybody that dreams of being a professional wrestler
Yep. This is Super
dreams
Bowl.
of being in WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
And it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you fucking
Yeah,
get there.
as long as you get there. Absolutely.
And yeah, I would have loved to be there 2, 3, 4, 10, 12, 15 times.
There you go.
But once is enough for me, man. I'm just a small town kid from Omaha, Nebraska. And I was just a great amateur. And Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, opened the door for me, got me in touch with Vince, and the rest was history.
$1 Million Man.
The door got just opened up a fucking sliver, and I blasted through that bitch. Right?
How much did your amateur career help you being a pro wrestler?
A lot. I used a lot of amateur moves in the ring. I used to suplex guys every which way but loose. I'd suplex them 20 different fucking ways. And so it was very important, and yeah, I mean, I might have wrestled a little snug, as some people might say, a little stiff maybe. But one thing's for sure is my shit was realistic. I always would tell them, lay that shit in, man. You miss me by a fucking foot with the fucking punch, and I'm taking your fucking head off. I ain't selling that shit.
There you go.
So, take care of your fucking self while you're taking care of me.
Well, Mantaur, you have had a great career. You've obviously had a great life. You're being blessed to this very day. I want to thank you for coming to Monty and the Pharaoh's studio.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys. And again, I want to thank you for, putting my podcast on your Monty and the Pharaoh platform. On all these different platforms that you guys are on, but I'm on the Monty and the Pharaoh channel, and I want to thank you guys very much for putting me on that channel and giving me my own platform, so to speak, to share my life and share my stories with. And I couldn't be more grateful for that, man, because without you guys, I wouldn't be here right now.
Well, you're very welcome.
And so I really, appreciate that very much, man.
Absolutely.
And thanks for having me. And
Yeah,
on that note, everybody, Mantaur's Memoirs, we have a motto here, and the motto is, you only die once, but you live every day. Woo!
Later.
Peace out.